Let's talk about the Senate passing a $2 trillion stimulus bill to help workers. That bill includes $350 billion in aid to small business. Joining us for a look at how this money can actually get to businesses that need it. It is the issue on the table right now is Marty Mucci. He's the CEO of Paychex. Marty, first of all, let's talk about the number we're going to see at 8:30, what that number could look like, and how you think the world, the public, should even think about that number.
Well, I think, it's going to be a shock. Obviously, it's the first time we've seen a number like that, maybe ever. And I think that the issue here is we're very impressed with what the Fed has done with its stimulus package and now getting it approved. But we've got to get it into the hands of these small businesses. You mentioned it earlier, Andrew, that you're hearing from small businesses. We're hearing from them. How do I get this money? We got to simplify it, communicate it, and get the cash in their hands. These small businesses can't hold on without that cash. And if you look at some of the great things that are in this bill, like sick pay, paying for sick pay and extending paid family and medical leave, you got to be employed to get that money. So we've got to get this money quickly into the hands of small businesses so that they can keep their employees intact.
Well, in terms of mechanism, though, Marty, that's the question. Getting it into their hands, and then also, who's going to make these loans? And it goes to the issue that Steve was talking about. This may look like a liquidity crisis today, but could become a solvency crisis tomorrow. And so how are the bankers going to ultimately be able to measure that, especially when it's unclear how long this is going to go on for?
Well, I think one thing is, payroll processors are somebody we've offered our help over the weekend. We sent letters to Congress, to the president, to Secretary Mnuchin, and said, hey, look, payroll processors, we just paid everyone last week, this week. We haven't missed a payroll yet. I have 15,000 of my 16,000 employees working from home, and we've had the best service metrics ever. So we can help them get this payroll done. We just need somewhere to go get the funds. And I think that's one of the fastest ways that we can do that. But I think if banks are going to have to staff up very quickly, I've seen a lot of the red tape getting cut from what I hear. That's going to be great for these loans. But it's all about the cash for small businesses. They're making decisions this week on what they have to do. And, 2 weeks ago, they were worried about how to hire people and find people.
Right, but Marty, this is what I want you to do to help the viewer out there who owns a small business, owns a restaurant, who sees literally zero revenue coming in today, who has a staff who's saying to themselves, I want to keep my staff on board. I'm told that these loans may even be forgivable if I do, but I don't know if this goes on for a month or two. The math won't ever add up for me. And that's the kind of anecdotal story I hear literally almost every other hour. What do you tell that person?
I think what you got to kind of first, what Steve said before, I think I'd contact your banks, your commercial banks, and say, can I get some sort of short-term loan until this is all settled out? Hopefully, Paychex has been in this business for almost 50 years, simplifying and explaining these things to businesses. We're waiting for the final rules and regulations, and we're talking to the Treasury and the government, Congress every day, trying to get the rules settled out. Go to your bank, see if you can get a short-term loan. There's different things you can do. Maybe you can furlough your employees just part-time. You can split jobs, anything you can do to save money in the short term. In the longer term, you at least got to be comfortable that, hey, this is at least going to go on for 8 weeks, meeting the backup of the payroll, and I'm not sure it won't go longer if they need it. The government has been really great about how fast and how extensive they've put these things into place. Your point as a small business now is get some cash, stay in business for the short term, and count on the government to continue to help you if it goes longer.
Yeah, I think the question, though, Marty, is if your biggest expense is your employees and you want to continue to pay them and you're looking at your bank account dwindling and you're saying to yourself, I'm not sure if this money is going to get to me in 3 or 4 weeks, and in 3 or 4 weeks I may be out of money, should I take the gamble and the risk of continuing to pay on the assumption that somehow this money is coming to me, or should I lay these people off now? And if you could also just make a distinction between what it means to lay somebody off and then with the hope of maybe rehiring them later, and the distinction between that and what might be described as a furlough.
Well, yes, and I think every business has to make that decision, obviously. But I think, to me, the furlough is basically, hey, look, I'm not going to pay you, but I'm going to keep you on the payroll. And versus laying off. You're off the payroll. I'm going to lose some of your records. I'm not going to be able to necessarily continue to pay you or give you the sick pay or the paid family leave. I think that most small businesses are going to try their best to try to get some cash to do it and trust in the government. I've never seen the government so supportive of small business in our history and the things they're doing. So I think if you can hang on with some cash and count on those things coming, but the government's got to find the fastest way to get this money to them. One of the ways we do think is coming through us as a payroll processor, and we've offered our help to do that. We know the most up-to-date bank accounts for employees. We know how to pay. We just paid them probably last week or 2 weeks ago. We're ready to pay again. We just need to know where the dollars are so we can get money into the employees' hands.
Okay. If there are folks in Washington watching, call Marty. Marty, thank you for coming on this morning, and we look forward to talking to you soon, and wish you a lot of luck,
Andrew.
hopefully helping to get that money out to people who need it.